Hi friends. So we are now in the fourth week. They're entering the fourth week of quarantine or social distancing, as we're calling it. And I'm starting to hear questions from you, my fellow teachers, about how to keep the remote lessons going. All right, so apparently you're getting questions from parents, maybe about reducing your lesson rate or about, like, is this even worth our time and our effort to keep doing? I know here in our area, it's been announced that schools are not going back this school year. The kids are not returning back to school. And so, what does that mean for private lessons? Is it still worth doing? Is it still worth keeping up with? And so, I want to address that and then talk this through a little bit. First off, let me say yes, what you do on a weekly basis, that 30 minutes, that 45 minutes, that 60 minutes of time that you spend with students is valuable and is totally worth doing, okay? In more ways than you might even realize. It is very valuable. Should you reduce your lesson rate? I find that there is a lot of extra work, there's a lot of prep, and there's a lot of extra steps that go into teaching remote lessons. And so I don't personally feel like it is less valuable, like monetarily, to do lessons this way. My students are still making progress. My students are still learning, and they are still being productive and moving forward on their instruments. And that's what I am paid to do. And so as long as I can keep that going, then I don't see any reason to lower my rate. Now, the rest of this conversation is going to be on how to, this is going to be a phrase that some of you will not like, how to keep the perceived value of your lessons up. And now here's what I mean by that. We know that they're valuable. You know that they're valuable. If you didn't know that they weren't valuable, you wouldn't still be doing it. You would just take the time off and go find something else to do and not even try to keep up with this, because sometimes it's a little bit challenging. But especially right now, with everything being seen through a different lens, you need to do what you can to show parents and students and other teachers that you work with that lessons are still valuable, okay? One way that we can do this is to give the parents updates. All right, you probably did this when you had lessons in person. You would finish out a lesson and you would come out with the student and talk to the parent. Hey, here's what Tommy did in his lesson today. Here's the new skill that we're working on. He still needs to improve on these things. You gave them a quick little update. And if the parent is listening in on the lesson, make sure that you are verbally, pointing out those things, pointing out that new skill, pointing out a specific improvement that they've made. Maybe even drop an email every now and then if the parent doesn't tend to listen in on lessons. Drop an email and tell them what the student is working on or has been working on, and maybe what the parents can even watch for at home. Parents love to help, and so if you can say Lindsay's posture needs to be a little bit more upward and her flute tends to be more towards her ear instead of towards the tip of her nose, those are things that parents can look for and that they will want to help with. So give them an update of some sort, either verbally if they're listening in on the lesson, or send them an email if they don't tend to listen in on the lesson. Keep encouraging your students, all right? What are they doing well? Tell them, okay? What skills are they working on right now that will apply later? Tell them right there in their lesson, hey, you're doing a great job at watching out for those articulation markings. We still need to keep working on double tonguing because, when you become a flute player in college, then that's going to be something that you're going to need a lot. Give the students an opportunity to talk. This is frustrating and difficult for them as well, and they need to process it too. So give them the opportunity to tell you about how they're feeling about things. That will not only just be an act of kindness on your part, but also will be good for maintaining that relationship that you had when you saw each other in person every week. Make them feel, a little like they're still kind of close to you, which is good and which they should be. Maybe send out notes or short videos like this one to your students or to the parents to let them know that you are thinking about them, to give them some updates on how you are doing and maybe what changes are being made in lessons, and what things that they can, be paying attention to. But send out either a mass email or just a short little video for you to address them and just let them know that you are thinking about them. Somebody is thinking about them outside of their home. Okay, this next one kind of goes along with that. If you can, email or post like extras. So this could be articles, this could be videos, this could be videos about their instrument or about playing or just awesome performances. These are not things that you necessarily have to make, but you can kind of curate, you can kind of collect them and share them, but just something to tie the student back to their instrument throughout the week. Okay, between the times that they see you. They don't have band or choir or orchestra to make that connection between them and the instrument and between them and other musicians throughout the week right now. So those little extras might be good to help them see that other kids are doing things too, or other musicians are still working, or there was this awesome thing that might inspire them to keep practicing through the week when maybe the motivation starts to lag just a little bit. All right. Speaking of motivation, give the parents and the students something to look forward to. Okay, this could be as complicated as you want. This could be as simple as you want. Ideas for this would be maybe a Zoom mini recital. Piano teachers, this would be awesome for you. Can you imagine all of your, especially your little ones, your piano students getting all dressed up and ready for their mini recital on their computer from their piano at home? And the moderator, could mute everybody other than just the one student who's performing, unmute everybody for applause, and then go on to the next student. I would do these in mini, so like 8 to 10 total students, because it will start to get a little bit cumbersome trying to keep your eyes on what's going on. But that would be so fun to do a little Zoom mini recital. Another idea might be like a showcase, think like an art show where you have the artwork up for a set amount of time and people can kind of peruse them at their leisure. You could do something similar, like a showcase on maybe Facebook. So set up a private group just for your students and parents, and the students from this date to this date can post a video of themselves playing, and then it'll be up for all your studio to come and visit, kind of like an art show. Even just talking about ideas that you have for when all of this is done, when we can go back to our normal lives and come out of our houses again. Even ideas or plans that you have for the summer or the school year, something to do with the students, gives them something that they can, look forward to. And that, I think, will give a lot to the motivation. And again, that's something going forward that's going to increase the idea that, well, these are still valuable because they're going to something. So the last thing I'm going to leave you with is to make lessons run as smoothly as you can. All right, be prepared, have your setup ready, have your materials ready, have your notes ready, and as little up and down as you can do during the lesson would be great, and as much attention as you can focus to the student instead of being elsewhere, trying to get something or do something. The less of that you can do, the better. The smoother that lessons can run, the better that it will be perceived on the other end of the screen. Okay? Listen, you guys can do this. You can so totally do this. I know that it's a little bit of extra work. I know there are a few extra steps that we're all having to take, but I hope that you will be able to keep your students through this, that you will be able to keep a vibrant studio, because the instruction that you give to your students on a weekly basis is very valuable. All right, don't forget that. Take care, and I'll see all of you back at school soon.